here a year later and say you're not going to tell us whether or not there was information about the origins of the virus when it is so central to the safety and health of our fellow Americans?
I certainly understand the point of the question. Again, I have to be careful not to discuss specific investigations. I will say that in addition to our investigative work, as I think has been recently publicly stated by the DNI and I think even the President himself, the intelligence community has been looking at this issue. There are differences of view within the intelligence community about the origins of the coronavirus.
Totally
and so
understand
forth.
all that. I'm trying to resolve those differences.
Deeper
with these
dive on
questions.
that subject.
Director Wray, we are unable to hold the Chinese Communist Party accountable if we throw our hands in the air and say, well, there's differences of opinion. We have to assess whether those differences are similarly rooted in fact. That's why I need the facts from you. Will you provide to this committee any scientific analysis that the FBI has done regarding Dr. Yan's claims, regarding the messages she provided to you, regarding Beijing's knowledge of the origins of this virus, their military's involvement, and even efforts to try to present to the world a fake genome sequence at the beginning of these developments?
I'm happy to see what information we can provide. I will have my staff follow up with yours and see what information we can share on the subject.
You get that if we don't look at that rooted information, we're unable to ascertain what differences of opinion are correct and incorrect. But it's hard to believe that the FBI didn't believe Dr. Yan was credible or significant because she lands on April 28th. Your agent, Dana Murphy, takes her phone that day. I'm holding the receipt from where you got the phone that had the WeChat messages that had very important information regarding Beijing and the Chinese Communist Party. And it's not every day that an FBI agent flies from Los Angeles to New York to follow a Chinese doctor who is a whistleblower and a fact witness. And even if Dr. Yan's technical analysis of the virus is incorrect, the fact that she showed up saying that she wanted to provide information and tell the truth seems significant today. Now, back when Dr. Yan made these pronouncements regarding the Chinese Communist Party, their military involvement, the leak of this virus from the lab, we had a number of people trying to discredit her. Are you able to ascertain whether or not that effort to discredit Dr. Yan is part of the counterintelligence efforts by the Chinese Communist Party?
Again, I want to be careful both about what information we can provide in general about any kind of ongoing investigation, but also about what form that information would take, because in some cases you may be touching on things that would be classified, and that might require a different format. So I certainly understand why you're asking the questions. Let me commit to you that I will go back with my folks and see what information can be provided and what form it would have to take if we can provide any.
That would be very helpful. Mr. Chairman, may I be recognized?
Mr. Deutsch.
Oh, wait, hold on, Mr. Chairman. You let everybody else go over for a minute. May I be recognized just for unanimous consent request?
The gentleman's time has expired,
You're not
Mr.
treating
Deutsch.
everyone equally, Mr. Chairman. You went over by more than
Gentleman's
a minute.
time.
Mr. Johnson went over by 45 seconds.
Gentleman's
I just
time
want
has
unanimous
expired, Mr. Deutsch. What?
I just want a unanimous consent request.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You want a unanimous consent for what?
To get
Okay, I'm sorry.
Just a UC is all.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I seek unanimous consent to enter into the record the receipt from the United States Department of Justice wherein Dr. Yang's phone was taken by FBI agent Dana Murphy.
Without objection, the gentleman's time has expired, Mr. Deutsch.
Thank you very much,
Okay,
Mr. Chairman.
we can now.
First, I want to thank you.
Okay, we can go ahead and come back live. That was Matt Gaetz, and that was the questioning of FBI Director Wray for the first time. And you've seen a lot of Bob and Weedman. And the questioning is about the 2020 Woman of the Year for the War Room, Dr. Li Meng Yang. This audience, she's a beloved figure. And they're asking the questions right now. She came over here in April as a fact witness with direct evidence about the Chinese Communist Party's knowledge of this in late December of 2019 of the virus. What did the FBI do with it? Simple question to Ray. What did you know, and when did you go tell the task force, the vice president? When did you go tell the president? We are banned on Twitter because I made a metaphor, like we were talking about saying Thomas More a couple of days before about a head on, when he was executed, they put his head on a pike on London Bridge. And I said that there'll be two heads on pikes, and there needs to be Tony Fauci and Chris Wray. I also want to make a point, and the reason is that these guys have obfuscated and lied and not done their job. Chris Wray had direct evidence of what was going on in late April of 2020, and he did nothing. He did nothing. He did nothing. And we're going to sit there and hammer every day to see what he did with the information he had. At the time, Raheem, I believe I think there was only 10,000 people that died then. 15,000 people that died. There's over 600,000 in the United States today. Chris Wray had direct information. What did he do with it? Did he tell the National Security Advisor? Did he tell the Vice President, head of the task force? Did he tell the President of the United States? What did Chris Wray do with this information? Not Dr. Yan's assessment and analysis of the virus. She's got theories of the virus that I think stand up very well, but I'm not a scientist, but I've seen the scientific community come in. Some agree with it, some don't, but she says this is part of a bioweapons program. She said it was gain of function in bioweapons. Initially getting off the plane, she nailed that. But more importantly, leave that all aside. She is a fact witness about what went on in those days in late December of 2019, because she was mandated by her lab in Hong Kong to make direct contact with Beijing, with CDC in Beijing. And she has the receipts. On her phone is the WeChat in Mandarin. And the FBI have that. And you saw right there, this is typical Wray. And one other thing for this audience to note, Wray is a Christie guy. How did we end up with Wray? Chris Christie. How did we end up with Berman at the Southern District of New York? Chris Christie. You know, Chris Christie says, I may be running in 2024 because I want to implement populist policies. Chris Christie said populist policies. The most bought and paid for of all the major political figures in the Republican Party, Chris Christie. Wray is Chris Christie's guy. Berman's Chris Christie's guy. This is when you get great Chris Christie running your transition. These are the great picks that he's got for you. Wray is a total disaster and a complete and total liar. Complete and total liar. He had the information. He had the hard drive from hell in December of 2019. What did he do with it? Everything you're seeing about the compromise of Hunter Biden, he had that in December of 2019 before President Trump was impeached. What did he do with it? Before Joe Biden won the primaries against Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders. I don't want to hear all the progressive guys, the populists on the left. I don't want to hear your whining and your hand-wringing. Right, Biden wouldn't even have been the nominee if Wray had done his job and Barr had done his job. Yes, that's Bill Barr, who got the $2 million cash advance for his book, a payoff by the system for his book. Chris Wray sat there today, and that shows you the power of Matt Gaetz. You know why they want to take Matt Gaetz down? You know why they're want to take Matt Gaetz down, which looks like it's because he's dating young women? I don't know, right? He's a bachelor that dates women. That's why they're trying to take him down. They want to destroy Matt Gaetz because Matt Gaetz is one of the few guys that has the stones and the intellect to brace up a guy like Wray right there and have Wray bobbing and weaving. I got to get back to you. Can't talk about investigations. Well, sir, trust me, there's going to come a day when it's all going to come out, and you're going to have to sit there and face what you did on April 28th and 29th of 2020 when your agents got direct evidence of Beijing's understanding and knowledge of a SARS-like explosion of a virus in 2019. And you had the evidence. And, sir, what did you do? Did you go tell Fauci? Did you go to Collins? Did you tell Mike Pence, who was heading up the task force? Did you tell the National Security Advisor? Did you go tell the President of the United States? Did you tell Bill Barr? Who did you tell? Who did you tell? And then you took the chief scientist for the FBI in a couple of days later in New York and grilled her. Where's that report? Has anybody in Congress seen that? Has anybody in any administration seen that? What did you do, Chris Wray? How much blood is on your hands? How many people were dead on April 28th, and how many are dead today? That's where you got to start holding accountability. People have to be held responsible. We talk about we're a society of self-reliance and responsibility. We need to start to hold the expert managerial class responsible. Chris Wray, you are responsible. You had the information. What did you do? Did you inform anything? Why are we still talking in May of 2020? There's some debate about Wuhan lab. You have direct evidence. Did you move on that? How quickly have you moved? Are you working 24 hours a day? You're taking weekends off? Your agent's taking weekends off? Is some process? This is an emergency. And because it's a gain of function, it is a bioweapon. What have you done, sir? I'll tell you what you've done. You've done nothing. And you're not going to be a scene done. Oh, we're doing some investigation. No, that does not work. From every grave of every person that died, they would like to know. Their families would like to know. All the dead would like to know. They would like to know, what did you do, Chris Wray? Besides, it's under investigation, I can't talk about it. You're getting into classified information. No, that's not good enough, and it's not going to be good enough. And we have dedicated our lives to find out and get to the bottom of it, like we got to the bottom of Wuhan, and like we're going to get to the bottom of November 3rd, and we're not going to back off 1 inch. So understand, Ray, every second of every day, we're coming for you to get that information and to find out exactly what you told people, what you told them, and what you did about it. You're supposed to be the FBI. You're supposed to be the J. Edgar Hoover's, the guy in that long lineage of great people that have protected the country. What are you actually protecting? Did you protect the country when you had the hard drive from hell with Hunter Biden and you saw the compromise of the Chinese Communist Party at the highest levels of our government? Did you protect the country in that, sir? Did you? No, you did not. Did you protect the country with the information you had in April of 2020 from a defector? And if you want to understand, and all these stories going around there, all these defectors, why there are defectors, why won't they come to the United States, and why will they not deal with the FBI? Why did the defectors that want to leave China and want to leave the Chinese Communist Party and want to come forward and tell the truth? Because my organization got a defector out. And she went and she had, forget what you think about her as a scientist and what you think about her papers and her analysis, which I happen to think stand up very well. Leave that aside. That's not the question. She's a fact witness and she's got the receipts. What do you think about that, sir, and what did you do with it? That is the question before the House today. And guess what, Chris Wray? You can lie, you can spin, you can say everything like that, but guess what? I know. What did you tell people? What did you tell people? What did you tell the task force? And you sit there today with the gall, oh, I got an investigation, I can't talk about investigation, I can't talk about it. Well, answer, sir, to the dead. Why don't you answer to the, what, it's 600,000? And why doesn't CNN put that up there? And why didn't MSNBC put that there? You're so concerned about the dead. Why don't you get on top of Chris Wray? And why is it Matt Gaetz that have to ask these questions? Yes, Matt Gaetz, who you're trying to break every day. That Matt Gaetz. That guy. Why didn't you do that? Where's MSNBC? Where's Sanjay Gupta? Where are all the great investigative reporters at the New York Times and the Washington Post and ProPublica? Where are you? The 600,000 dead would like to know that. They would like to know what the FBI did. They would like to know what action Chris Wray took. They would like to know this whole apparatus that we're paying for. This is why people are disgusted. They're disgusted because this is all fake and all phony. Right? We pretend. You come up there and you pretend. Well, the dead don't think it's phony because they died from it. It's revolting. And this is where our country is. Ray, you're a disgrace. You're an absolute disgrace, and we're going to be on you every day, sir. And I don't care if they take us off Twitter because we got another thing up our sleeve on that, too. We'll take a short commercial break. We've got a bunch of guests, but I've been on rants this morning. We got a bunch of guests, and I swear we're going to get to them. We're going to come back, get to a couple of our guests before we take off. Thank you.